Welcome to this week's Dunlop Motorcycle Tires Track Conditions Report here in Seattle, Washington. I'm here with the six-time AMA champion Brock Glover. And Brock, we're in an open stadium again. Today, earlier in press day, the sun was out, but we got clouds now. They're starting to cover the track. We may have a possibility of rain.
Absolutely. We had a unbelievably beautiful day. They've had great weather up here, and but unfortunately there is a forecast of some precipitation. And you know, we are in March in Seattle, so we kind of expected it, to be honest with you. We got some sand sections, some other sections in the track that should be able to hold up quite well to the weather. But you know, we're going to see what happens.
You talk about that sand. I want to talk about it with the tires. You know, it's very hard for the guys to, pick a tire because this sand is pretty deep.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost MX-12 country here. You know, this what we call a scoop tire or more of a paddle tire. But it's, the rest of the track, I don't think they'll pick it unless it really gets sloppy and wet. But, the mixed conditions, I think the best tire for us is the MX-33 tire. It's an open pattern, still has good performance in the hard pack. I mean, we actually did see some hard pack sections today in the press day, but it's, I don't expect it. I mean, literally the weather's changing by the minute, and they're calling for some rain in the next hour or two.
The starting line, I want to go over and I want to talk a little bit about the starting line, how the tire grips, because we hear a lot of guys, I couldn't get a great start. And, in Supercross, you need a great start. The MX-33, a great tire, and how it grips that corrugated metal.
It does, and when they introduced it and they said we're going to have it for the entire series in 2019, it was obviously a concern for a lot of riders. They thought, wear out tires a lot, the tire would slip and spin, but it hasn't really been that way. And plus, with the bikes of the start controls and they've got some electronics to be able to control how hard the bike hits off the start. It really, surprisingly, there's very limited spin, and some of the riders are opting for setting up their bike, maybe going with a little smaller tire on the bigger bike in order to, create some spin.
Now, last weekend I was with Brian Fleck, and we dropped a tire inside the whoop. It kind of disappeared, but this week I want to go over the plastics on the whoops right now, but I got a measuring tape. I want to measure to see how deep that is over there.
I've always tried to explain that to people that are just more fans of the sport and haven't really had a chance to ever ride one of these tracks. When we were walking through them and I realized, holy, I'm almost 6 feet tall, you're not far from it, and I was looking way up at you. I knew you were 4 or 5 feet above me, and that's the difference. I mean, that differential between the base of that whoop, if you ever let your bike drop down in there and you let a wheel drop to the bottom of those whoops, and then what that next obstacle is, it's nearly impossible to even go through it. No wonder sometimes you see some pretty big crashes when they talk about skipping a whoop and the front end dropping.
All right, well, you heard it from Brock Glover. That's it for this week's Dunlop Motorcycle Tires Track Conditions Report here in Seattle, Washington.